Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a pick a card reading for the time frame ahead whenever you find this. For these readings, I usually pick an overall theme. And the energy that was coming through today was the crystal topaz. I have a little blue piece right here. So I'll just read like sections of the topaz description from the Crystal Bible just to give an overall general theme for this reading. So topaz is a mellow, empathetic stone that directs energy to where it is needed most. It soothes, heals, stimulates, recharges, remotivates, and aligns the meridians of the body. Topaz promotes truth and forgiveness. It helps shed light on the path, highlights goals, and taps into inner resources. This crystal brings about a trust in the universe that enables you to be rather than to do. It cuts through doubt and uncertainty. Psychologically, topaz helps you to discover your own inner riches. It makes you feel confident and philanthropic, wanting to share your good fortune and spread sunshine all around. Negativity does not survive around joyful topaz. This stone promotes openness and honesty, self-realization, self-control, and the urge to develop inner wisdom. Mentally, topaz aids problem solving and is particularly useful for those engaged in the arts. It helps you to become aware of the influence you have and of the knowledge you have gained through hard work and life experiences. This stone has the capacity to see both the bigger picture and the minute detail, recognizing how they interrelate. Topaz assists in expressing ideas and confers astuteness. So that's the overall energy of this reading, is the energy of topaz. Something about the blue topaz that is significant is assisting in seeing the scripts you've been living by and to recognize where you have strayed from your own truth. So it's coming through as just sort of like an aligning energy where perhaps there's been sort of like just places where energy needs to be flowing, realigning those places, like directing energy to where it is needed most. It's also bringing sort of like inner healing in order for there to be like motivation or recharging or clarity perhaps as well in terms of like where the path is leading or what the next steps are or that kind of thing. So that's the overall overall theme for this reading. I have no idea what I'm going to title this video, but I'll pick the groups, and as always, I'll hold up the cards and the timestamps will be in the description box below. All right, so for group 1, we have the stars. This is number 16, and it is the 6 of hearts. For group 2, we have the clover. It is number 2, and it is the 6 of diamonds. And finally, we have the heart, which is number 24, and it is the Jack of Hearts. So I will hold up all 3 so that you can compare group 1, group 2, and group 3, and you'll find the timestamps in the description box below. Hi group 1, welcome to your reading. So let's get started here. The overall context, which is really lovely, you have here the Empress, and underneath that, or like with a different deck I should say, you have the God of Light, which is the King of Wands. And the Trust card. So I feel like there's something here for group 1 about action versus non-action is really important here. With the God of Light, this one is sort of like the King of Wands in this deck. But it talks about like bringing light to a situation, but sometimes in reverse it can also mean sort of like removing your light from a situation. There's something here though about like, especially with the Empress, because the Empress is one who receives, but also is very nurturing. There's something here about like the creation. So maybe something that you have created that perhaps there's sort of like a balance between how much energy you're giving into a situation or how much you're putting into sort of like the nurturing aspect or the growing aspect versus when it's sort of time to back off or to like whatever, focus your energies elsewhere or something like that. So that's sort of the overall energy that's coming through. The first card you have here is the acceptance card, which is really lovely. So it was kind of looking like a partnership, especially with the cards that are coming in here next, where there may be sort of like two energies that are uniting on something, like perhaps a creative project or something like that, or just like a shared goal. This might be sort of like a partnership. It was also kind of coming through as being sort of like accepting assistance, accepting like help with something, or the energies that are coming through, which are really interesting. You got two alchemy cards. You have the mortification and the alchemical wedding, which is interesting because it could be with the mortification card. This is the death card in this deck. It could be that you're accepting some sort of transition or some sort of ending or some sort of like. There was something here, especially with the energy of Topaz, as we were talking about in the general theme, of paying attention to certain scripts that you've been playing out. And this mortification card was talking about ending scripts that could that maybe there were people playing out certain scripts or certain roles or like certain ways of being that perhaps were not benefiting them, and it's kind of like accepting the change in that script, or accepting the change in perhaps a very established way of being. It is coming through with sort of like help, like for instance, somebody who has difficulty accepting help or has difficulty asking for help. It's kind of like that might be changing a little bit, but it's coming out with the alchemical wedding, which is so lovely because this talks about like a celebratory moment, right? Like for now, the guidance or like the energy of this reading is to celebrate some sort of perhaps like a timeline, like a marker, like I'm blanking on the words, like some sort of like important event, or like you've reached some sort of significant place marker is the word that's coming through. Like it marks a significant arrival to some sort of event, whatever that means. And you also have here these two cards. So you have here the mountain and the stars. So there's something here about, so the mountain is an obstacle of some sort. So some sort of obstacle, and it could be some sort of like mental block or obstacle that was like a difficult challenge to overcome, especially when it comes to like accepting help or accepting support or whatever it is. I feel like there is some sort of significant, perhaps like mental block that's being cleared or removed. And you have here with the stars, this is talking about clarity, and it was coming through with the energy of like your goals are attainable, right? Your goals are attainable. I just feel like there was sort of like a need to accept some sort of change is how that's feeling to me. But anyways, so if we get into the tarot cards, you're starting off here with the Sun and the Ace of Cups, which is such a beautiful energy to start with, right? Like all of this clarity and happiness. And warmth is what's coming through the reading today. There's so much warmth and like celebration as well, because I feel like some sort of obstacle is being overcome, or there's like a change in that area of your life. Like it's almost looking to me like, rather than a mountain, it's looking to me sort of like, this looks like almost like a plant. Like it's not a mountain, it's a plant. It's something like it's reducing something that perhaps maybe felt like a big obstacle into something more manageable, is how that's coming through. And with the Ace of Cups here, like this overflowing energy, I also see this Ace of Cups as sort of like perhaps some sort of like emotional release, or just like energy is flowing, or it's interesting that her dress is kind of looking like ribs, like her ribs. So it's kind of coming through with like a big weight off of your chest or something like that. A big weight off of your chest in whatever area of this that this is applying to. And underneath that you have here the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Wands. So I'm actually seeing this as being some sort of partnership, because of the acceptance card. Like just the hands are looking like they belong to these two people. So it's coming through as being sort of like the Queen of Pentacles. This one talks about like engaging in some sort of work, whatever that is. So some sort of work, or like being ready or prepared to tackle some sort of problem. So whatever the mountain is, right? Like she's got all her tools and supplies in order to tackle some sort of problem, right? And then here the King of Wands. It's so interesting the way that these cards are coming out. So beside the Ace of Cups, you have here the Queen of Wands, right? So this is the same energy. The Queen of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. But it's like, what is beside the King of Wands here? You have the Seven of Swords and then the other King of Wands in this deck. So this deck comes with a feminine version of all the King cards. So you have here the masculine version of the King of Wands and the feminine version of the King of Wands. So it's looking to me, just the way that the cards are being set up, is that like the Seven of Swords especially is a difficult card, which talks about greed is how I see this card, or holding on to things, or like not being generous, or like that kind of energy, especially because it's coming out with the King of Wands and the God of Light. It's kind of coming through as being sort of like deceptive withholding. I don't know what that means, or like how that's applying to your situation, but it's kind of like I'm seeing this King of Wands character here as being sort of like an energy that was perhaps like creating an obstacle in some way, is how that's coming through. And so I'm seeing this partnership of like accepting help from somebody. Like perhaps there's a Queen of Pentacles energy that's accepting help from a King of Wands in order to overcome whatever this obstacle is representing. So that they can focus on what it is that they've been trying to focus on, is how that's coming through. So it's coming through as being sort of like a partnership or assistance in some way with like between two people, in whatever way that is, that helps to overcome some sort of obstacle, which is presenting as this energy. This is the obstacle energy, whatever that is to you. This King of Wands energy is kind of coming through as being sort of like somebody who is misusing their power in some way. This card has come out like that before. Misusing their power. Okay. Anyways, so I'm seeing what's coming out next here. You have here the Eight of Wands, which to me is looking like it's like flying right over top of whatever this obstacle is, whatever the mountain energy is. So a lot of fast movement, right? There it feels like there's some sort of overcoming of an obstacle, whatever that is. There's something here with this Queen of Wands, because I see this one as being sort of like a beacon, but there's something here about authenticity as well that's coming through, because there's, especially with these two energies, because the King of Wands can be extremely charming, very attractive, can work with energy in a very like effective way. But there's something here about the way that these two energies are different. Is like this one I'm seeing as being more authentic, like heart on fire kind of energy, whereas this one is covered up by things, or is there's some sort of performance associated with this one, this energy, especially with this Seven of Swords coming out. Some sort of deceptive energy about this, or inauthenticity. Because the way, so an example of this, because this was looking to me like Queen Padme from Star Wars, right? Like the difference between Padme, the queen, versus like the attendant, right? Like the queen is the more the queen version of Padme is like the more this version, right? Versus when she's in sort of like her attendant stage where she's like more free to do things. Anyways, I don't know who this applies to. Maybe you know somebody like this. So perhaps they have some sort of role or position of power. But anyways, I feel like there's something here about like overcoming that, because the card to come out right on top of this is this Eight of Wands. So it's almost like passing right over something. And it's coming out here, which is interesting, because I feel like this is what's changing or ending, because you have 2 5 cards coming out on top of one another, the Five of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. So this is coming through as being sort of like the Five of Cups talks about like grief or loss or letting something go, or it's coming through as being like perhaps there was a lot of investment into some sort of whatever this is, like some sort of investment of energy or resources, and it's kind of like having to let those go, perhaps without a return. Because with the Five of Pentacles, it's coming through as being sort of like the resources have been lost, is how that's feeling to me, especially this combination, right? It's like maybe there was a situation where somebody was investing too much energy or resources of some sort into some sort of perhaps project or part or collaboration or relationship, and it's kind of like it's put them in a Five of Pentacles energy. I'm associating it with the feminine version of the King of Wands, just because of the flower here, right? It's like perhaps there was someone here who trusted the wrong person, is how it was coming through. Especially with the next card coming out, you have here, see the Emperor, but this is not this is the feminine version of the Emperor, which is kind of looking to, like, perhaps there was a situation where somebody thought that there was a match, like that this was a match of some sort. But I'm seeing this as being sort of like, because I see this emperor as being sort of like a balloon figure, right? Like, perhaps an overinflated ego is what I heard. But there's something here about, like, this card to me is a very inauthentic energy. So I'm seeing there's an ending coming here. And I'm also seeing that it's part of like, so maybe there was a feminine energy here with the Empress that was perhaps following a certain script about sort of like false emperor energy, right? Like it could be something like that. Like false emperor energy. So someone who perhaps puts on a big show or is very perhaps superficially charming in some way. But anyways, that's the ending energy that's happening, because it's kind of like I'm seeing all these cords being cut. All of these sort of ties being released. And then what you have here next, the Knight of Swords and the Seven of Cups here, which is so lovely because it's bringing in all this stars energy again, right? Like you have the stars twice. So I'm seeing this as being sort of like, so first of all, this Knight of Swords comes in with the message, right is worth the cost. So perhaps there was some sort of cost to this path or this choice or this change or this ending. So it could have been that there, especially because Topaz is bringing in this energy here of truth, right? There may have been some sort of like, speaking some sort of truth or doing something that was right but perhaps difficult or required some sort of costly sort of whatever that is, ending, like a difficult or costly ending is how that's coming through. But it feels like to me, because of this card, the sort of in the clouds, right? Like clearing the clouds away. So there's more clarity coming into the situation. And with the Seven of Cups, this one doesn't talk to me about confusion. It more so is just bringing in sort of like this energy here of the stars again, where it's like perhaps getting some sort of new inspiration. The Moon card is also coming through here because we are at the new moon. We just passed it actually. So maybe by the time the moon is in this phase, the crescent moon, there may be some more clarity coming in. But it's coming through as being sort of like, because I always see this card as like having more inspiration or like painting with the stars or having some sort of wish come true. But perhaps there's sort of like an energy here of, because you're rewriting some sort of script or pattern, perhaps here, like being patient in sort of like the quote unquote darkness or ending phase, because there may be sort of like things that are coming to light in the next couple of whatever, however long this time frame lasts for you. And perhaps a new path is opening up, and being patient with that, because I feel like there's some sort of new wish being granted, but it might require maybe like some goals, like a change in like the goal or a shift towards something else is kind of how it's coming through. But there is sort of an acceptance energy. Perhaps accepting assistance from somebody, or like support, or a partnership that is very authentic. Because these two are, I'm seeing these two as being more of a natural match here, the King and Queen of Wands. And both of these cards talk about authenticity to me. Of like your authentic light versus this one, which feels more like showy in some way. Okay, group 1. I'm going to end it there. I hope that was helpful. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. If you're interested in a personal reading, you'll find the link in the description box below. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. Hi, group 2. Welcome to your reading. So we're going to get started here with just like a little backstory. I'm actually recording your reading last because I record them in order, but when I went to go upload the videos, I realized group 2's message didn't record. It actually, like, the file got corrupted, which is so interesting with the cards coming out in this version, because in the first reading, group 2, I actually feel like it was like reading somebody else's energy that was in your space, because it's kind of like, I feel, or just like a fear-based energy because of the cards that are coming out. You have the first card is the fear card. But what actually happened with the alchemy cards is that in the first version of this message, there was the card that came out was the lead card, which in alchemy is like the beginning of the process. But what you actually have here is the gold card in this version of the reading, where it's talking to me about like you're at the gold stage, which is you've transformed the lead into gold. Period. That's basically the message for you. But I feel like because of the first reading, where it started with lead, I feel like there's perhaps a fear-based energy around you that is almost like trying to, maybe it could be in the form of gaslighting, but it doesn't have to be that. It could just be any sort of like fear, like perhaps somebody around you who's in a fear-based energy. So it doesn't have to be gaslighting necessarily, but it's like they have a lot of fear or whatever around them, and perhaps trying to make you feel like you are at the beginning of a process, or there's a lot of like density or heaviness. But what the cards to come out next here is the Queen of the Moon, the sovereignty card, which is you, absolutely, this Queen of the Moon, and the gold, right? Is that you actually have transformed this heaviness or this lead energy into gold. You have already. That's part of the reading today. But I feel like that because maybe you're in a, so you may want to watch group 3's reading, just because of, like, I feel like it is tied to this, just because of the order of the readings, the way that they're recorded, and just because some other things that happened anyways. So you may want to watch group 3's reading, because I feel like that's part of this one. If you were drawn to group 2's reading, group 3's reading probably also has some sort of message in there for you. But I feel like there's somebody or just an energy around you that is sort of like a fear-based energy that is, I actually feel like this is in the process of being cleared, because it's kind of like there's some sort of purification process happening. I feel like it's just going to take a little bit of time is how that's coming through. Or that something's like coming back around, or like having to revisit something in some way. But you're at the gold stage in whatever this process is. Some level of like true sovereignty or true self-value, or the adjectives that were coming out with the gold are soft and radiant, warm and bright. So I feel like that's your energy. And it's kind of like that is exactly the opposite to what this fear energy is. So lovely for you, group 2. I'm glad I did not post that reading, because it would have been like, not even, I couldn't even post it because the file got corrupted. And that's part of it. It's like maybe there's like somebody trying to corrupt, like using that word in quotations, your energy in some way, or your sovereignty, or like all the work that you've done, that kind of thing. And it's kind of just like reminding you of this, right? This is you. This is you. Okay, so the first couple tarot cards to come out here, you have here the 5 of Cups and the 2 Swords. So again, I'm seeing this 5 of Cups as being sort of like the energy of either fear or loss or sadness, or any sort of like, it feels kind of like a lingering kind of sadness, or like heavy energies, density, with all of that sort of lead energy that came out first, like energy that needs to be transmuted and released, right? And I feel like that's not yours. But it is putting you perhaps in a 2 Swords kind of energy of like not being able to see clearly, or being confused by things, or like having perhaps your mind jumbled or your thoughts jumbled, or just like not like feeling like you're stuck when you're not, right? Like that, it's that kind of energy, because what you have next here is the 3 of Coins and the Ace of Coins. Like all this is the gold, right? Like some sort of new beginning, some sort of like perhaps collaboration here with the 3 of Coins. I sometimes see this as being like people supporting you perhaps in like the background, or like could be spirit guides, or whatever label you would like to put on that, like a spiritual connection or whatever. You have support here and a new beginning, and something about like what it is that you value with the gold, right? Not necessarily material, but because it's coming out with the Ace of Coins, I do feel like it is tangible in some way, right? Like it's like a physical manifestation in some way. It doesn't have to be wealth though. So just take that how it resonates for you, but it's like sorry for my dog. You have some sort of tangible beginning, right? Like that kind of energy. With coming out here with next though, you have like the Page of Wands, which is talking about like creativity. Sorry, my dog distracted me. I don't know what happened. Okay, sorry. So next card out you have here is the Page of Wands, which is talking to me about like some sort of like new creative venture, or like new inspiration, or perhaps feeling motivated or having a lot of energy, which is interesting because underneath that is coming out with the 10 of Swords. So this could have been a past situation where like perhaps a difficult ending. It could also just be like this is the fear-based energy, right? Like an energy that is I don't want to say trying to keep you stuck, but that's sort of what's coming through. Like that is a fear-based energy around you that makes you feel small, or stuck, or like you have to hide, or like that kind of thing. That's all fear-based energy, but this is coming out on top of that, which I feel like is talking about like being fearless or being unafraid or doing something very bravely or courageously. And there's something here about as well, like, because of the energies coming through, you have with these cards, the portals card, you have the God of Synchronicity, which talks about time and patterns, and that there are a lot of like uncontrollable things. But I feel like there's something here about like, I feel like for you, there's an energy of going with the flow, because you have here the tide as well, which I love, because you have the tide and the Queen of the Moon, right? So it's something about like, I feel like in some way, of course, nobody can control time, right? That's something that nobody can control. But I feel like you have the ability to work with flow in some way, like your energy flow, or being in the flow, or allowing time to sort of do its work and working within those parameters or confines is how it's coming through. Like just understanding perhaps how time works, especially because the last portal card you have is the time magic, which was coming through as being sort of like a time heals all wounds, or if there was wounding or just like an ending of some sort. I feel like there's like something about being patient as whatever it is this ending is sort of clears up, or clarity comes through time as well. Again, there are no such thing as coincidences. So the fact that that file was corrupted and I had to come back and do it, and then the whole message changed, is significant. So there's something here about like perhaps returning to something, or this energy of like time changes a lot of things. Time changes a lot of things. And you have here next the Clover. So some good luck, perhaps, with the God of Synchronicity, right? Like, I feel like for your reading, especially with the overall theme being like TOPAZ, aligning energies, perhaps realigning energies within yourself, is just a reminder that you have this gold energy, right? And it's kind of like there may just be sort of like timing energies that are having to play out with like some good luck, aligning things with luck. I love this Clover card. It talks to me about like serendipity, or like something small but it changes a lot of things. That's been a theme in this reading as well. Anyways, what you have next coming out, you have 3 major arcana coming out next. So the Tower card. But this Tower card to me represents sort of like, actually comes through with a very positive energy of like having a very strong foundation, actually. Like having a very strong foundation, even though there may be something up here that's kind of unpleasant, or that's changing or shifting, or being removed, is how it's coming through. The foundation is very strong. And I feel like there's that sort of confirmation for you, right? Like it's kind of like allowing things to flow out of your life if they're not meant to be. And kind of just like, because there's something here about like standing the test of time. I'm just going to leave it like that. There's a Leo moon reading. I think it was a moon reading. It was a Leo reading for sure. I don't know if it was moon. That I'll link above, that had some of these cards in it that may be helpful for you. But anyways, you also have here the Hierophant and the Strength card. So these are both fixed sign energies, right? Taurus and Leo. So fixed signs is talking to me about stability and integrity as well. I feel like there's something here about with the Hierophant, this one to me represents sort of like an energy of like a surprise, like an unexpected surprise, or like something serendipitous, or kind of feels like good luck, but it's not. It's something that's aligned, that has been aligned. I feel like there's something here as well about like discovering something about yourself, or discovering something about your strength that perhaps is help, like whatever it is that you're going through at this time is revealing something perhaps surprising about your strength. Doesn't have to be surprising, but it's like discovering something here with with the Hierophant. Or just discovering some sort of new gift, or like some sort of like synchronicity kind of energy as well. There's also something, because what came out beside the Hierophant was the Two of Cups, that there may be some sort of like synchronistic energy here about like a significant relationship as well. Like discovering something surprising that is also somehow shared with another person. Like it's kind of like, you know, in the show, if you've ever watched the show The Manifest, that show's like very strange, but it does kind of bring in energies of like having downloads, and having downloads that are shared with other people. If you've ever experienced that, that's sort of what it's coming through here. If you've ever had downloads that were shared with other people, that's what's coming through. Like there may be like a surprising, I don't want to use the word surprising. It may not be a surprise to you, but it's coming through as being sort of like a very spiritual connection. A very spiritual connection that you may be seeing evidence of. Because something else is ending. Right? It's like there's some sort of fear-based energy that's like, that perhaps was blocking a significant connection. Or something like that. But anyways, you have two more major arcana here with the Judgment and the Death card. So some sort of significant transition. This Judgment card talks about like integrating the past fully and forgiveness as well. Which is moving through some sort of transition. With the 8 of Coins, this card talks to me about receiving the final piece of something. The final piece. But now it's coming through as being like peace as in like peaceful. Like final peace as in like finally getting peace about a situation maybe. Something is being laid to rest very peacefully is how that's coming through. I feel like here as well, because you have here the Page of Swords coming out next. Again, there may be sort of like a tentativeness, because that first reading was coming through as being like somebody not like trusting themselves. Because of a fear-based energy around them, where it's like especially if you've ever been like gaslighted by someone, sometimes like the effect of that might be to like almost like diminish or doubt yourself, because that's perhaps what you learned. But I feel like whoever this reading is for, you've done like a lot of work in getting yourself to this place, the sovereignty of like knowing your worth, knowing your strengths, knowing who you are, knowing your truth, all of that. So if I don't know necessarily if there is sort of like an intentional fear-based gaslighting that's happening, or if it's just kind of like that's just around you, like somebody in your environment who's just like in this energy, the Five of Cups, and perhaps just like picking up on it energetically. I don't know. But you have here at the end, I feel like it might be that, because at the end you have here the Seven of Cups, where it's kind of just like maybe like being really empathic and like being able to pick up on energies that are around you that may cause confusion, because it's kind of like this one to me always feels like being surrounded by a lot of confusing energies, and to like make sure that it does not affect your clarity here with the Page of Swords. Like this to me is one that like knows the answer or knows the truth, but is hesitant to express it or to act on it. It's like it comes through as sort of like a hesitation or tentativeness. But anyways, the last card you have here is the Fountain. This is the extra major arcana deck or card in this deck, which is talking about like unity consciousness, like oneness, coming together with something. It's like all of the aces all combined. It's an overflowing fountain, right? I feel like you're connecting with that sort of energy. It just kind of like it's kind of like there's some sort of fear-based energy around, is just how it's coming through. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I don't even want to focus on it. But at the bottom of the deck you have the High Priestess here. It's like I feel like you're discovering or reaffirming or confirming some aspect of like your strength or your intuition or your empathic or mystical abilities or gifts, or whatever word you want to put on that, whatever word resonates with you. You could use psychic abilities if that's the word that you like, whatever that is. Something about like your gifts, your strength, your sovereignty, and your gold. Your gold. Whatever your gold is to you. Okay, group 2. I'm going to leave it there. If that reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. If you're interested in a personal reading, you can find the link in the description box below. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great night. Bye. Hi, group 3. Welcome to your reading. So let's get started with the overall context of your reading here. You have here the Mystical Sister at the bottom of the deck, and 5 of Embers, 9 of Embers, and the Chaos card underneath that. So you can see all of this sort of like fiery energy here. So some sort of transformation or change is happening, perhaps having to do with like some situation that you've had to like put a lot of determination and effort into, or that's been challenging in whatever way. I feel like whatever that challenge is, though, is that it is bringing out some aspect of like your mystical abilities here. This card also talks about having a sacred ally, or like it could be like some sort of spiritual connection, perhaps, that is assisting you or supporting you in some way. Like there's like but I often see this card as being sort of like so now I'm seeing all this dust that's coming off of the moth here, where it kind of feels like maybe like your spiritual gifts are being awakened or amplified in this time because you're going through some sort of challenge. It's like because you're facing some sort of like difficult situation or challenge, it's almost like you're getting support, or like the dust is being shaken off, that kind of thing. Some sort of like support is how this card is coming through. So anyway, the cards that you have here though are so beautiful. So first of all, you have this attraction card. Sorry, the focusing on my camera got messed up here. I don't know what happened. Anyway, so the attraction card, and then you have here the Sun Splendor and Venus. So both of these cards together was coming through this energy of like attraction is at an all-time high, where I feel like you are attracting something, or just love in general, or whatever it is. You're attracting something so powerful here. But here with the Sun Splendor, I feel like it's something perhaps that you have worked on sort of like on a daily basis kind of thing with the Sun Splendor, because this card talks about like little things, like little acts of service, or because this card talks about generosity and appreciation and like giving thanks for things. So it could be something where it's like, because you're in this energy of like appreciating what you have, or like being very generous with what you have, or it's like you're attracting more of it, right? So it's kind of like that's what's coming through here with those cards. And then these cards here are just so incredible to me. So you have here the Spirit Magic, and then you have the Heart, right? It's like, okay, so it's coming through with a different message here. But so first of all, so much love in your reading, so much love, so much attraction, so much like pleasure and joy and happiness and generosity as well. But I'm seeing this as being sort of like you are, because you are attracting this energy, right? It's like it's coming back to you. Like that's what you're seeing, or that's what's being reflected back to you. Especially with the Venus card, this card talks about like an energy of a balanced Venus placement is being able to see the beauty in like simple things, in like small things, in daily things, like that kind of energy. So that's what I'm seeing here, is that like there's so much appreciation of simple beauty, or like simple love, or just things that make you happy. And it's also coming through as being like, because you're in this energy here, it's being reflected back to you, right? And amplified and enhanced. So it could be that you're also experiencing like a lot of harmony and stability within your relationships as well. But I do feel like you are attracting something perhaps very significant. If it's not, because it's kind of feeling like very simple acts of kindness, or simple acts of love, or it's wanting to emphasize sort of like simplicity over time, over a significant amount of time, has changed something very significant. So little by little, something very significant has changed, is how it's coming through, especially here with the myth of Kuzo. So this card talks about like a very powerful force of creation, and you can see here like all this, like the things that are stringed together, where it's kind of like little things that are added onto one another that creates a whole. So it's kind of coming through as like little by little, something has changed over time into like a very significant transformation, is how that's feeling to me. Especially because you have here, so the Death card and Judgment. So the Death card in this deck is the beginning, it's the Fool, and the Unknown, which is the Judgment card. I sometimes see this as like, especially when these two cards come out together in a reading, like this is sort of like the zoomed in version. This is sort of like the zoomed out version because you can see that the backgrounds are very similar. So I'm seeing this as being sort of like, perhaps you like are focusing on sort of like little things, or having perhaps like focusing on the little things maybe, right? Like, or just the day-to-day, or whatever's in front of you, or whatever. But I feel like here with the Judgment, it's you're going to be experiencing perhaps like a shift in direction in some way, or like a shift in the energies in because of perhaps all the work that you've been putting in, or something like that. Okay, anyways, and it's coming out here though with the Ace of Birds. So this is the Ace of Swords. So I feel like there's some sort of clarity or truth arriving, and the Five of Birds, which came out in reverse. So this is one of the more difficult cards in this deck. It talks to me about like arguments and fighting and ego battles and like just it's one of the more difficult cards in this deck. But I feel like that because it's flipped, right, it's upside down, I feel like there's an ending coming to that situation if it hasn't already, or that you're getting some sort of peace about it, or that you're finally past some sort of whatever this Five of Birds is, like, because your energy is all of this love, right? So it could be forgiveness, it could be compassion as well, like, because it's like a complete shift, but something that was worked on day by day is how that's coming through. Like, I feel like this reading is just trying to like show you how far you've come on something. Because maybe you were perhaps looking like just doing things day by day is how that's coming through. But it's like now you have a full collection is how that feels. Anyways, the next couple cards here you have are the Commander and the Dreamer. This is the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords. Both of these cards were talking about being immovable, like being very determined to do something, standing your ground as well. I feel like with the Dreamer card, it talks about like perhaps having some sort of dream that you're working towards that maybe felt distant, or like too fanciful, or too out there in some way. But because it's coming out the King of Pentacles here, I feel like it's bringing in this sort of grounded energy where like putting your plans into action, like using all of your determination, putting some sort of like solid foundation in working towards a dream, perhaps, right? Like day by day, putting in all the work, like doing all the things that you need to do. And I feel like it's attracting a lot of that energy back to you as well. There was something here as well with the King of Pentacles, especially because it's coming in with all of this heart energy of like allowing yourself, or allowing your heart to speak. Allowing your heart to speak was what the message was coming in with the King of Pentacles. Because it's the King of Pentacles, that can be sort of like very practical, focused on sort of like physical or resource-based kind of energy. So what's coming through here is like allowing your heart to speak, or allowing your heart to take space, or to express something. That's sort of what's coming through here with the King of Pentacles. And what's coming out next, which I love. So you have here the Crow and the Four of Embers. So this Crow was coming through as like a spirit messenger. So you may be receiving some sort of message spiritually or something like that. This is also the Magician. So it could talk about like how to channel some sort of spiritual energy into the physical. This Four of Embers, which is one of my favorite cards, it was coming through with an energy of like spiritual protection, especially if you've been dealing with any sort of challenging energies. It's like you have spiritual protection in whatever this is. It's like you're being protected, or like your dream is being protected, maybe. Because what's coming out underneath this is the 5 of embers. Sorry. The 5 of trees and the 10 of embers. So 5 of pentacles, 10 of wands. But I'm seeing this as like, I see the 5 of embers as being sort of like a contamination within the environment in some way, or some sort of lack of resources, or like resources being used or spoiled by some sort of toxin in the environment, for whatever that relates, however this relates to you. But with the 10 of embers coming out next, this talks to me about an end to a difficult situation. And I'm also just seeing this as being sort of like a cleansing energy. So it's kind of like, while this is happening perhaps in the background somewhere, or in whatever environment, it's like you're being protected while this storm is passing. That's how it's coming through. And in the meantime, you have here the 2 of embers and the ace of embers. So this to me is just talking about, like, with the 2 of embers, it talks about planning, right? Like making plans to move forward. I feel like there's something here about like making plans with others, or like collaborating with others, or getting some sort of new inspiration with a group of people about what plans are wanting to be made, or like some sort of new ace of wands kind of energy to move forward here. It could have to do with like, so these could be the mystical sisters as well with the 2 of embers, because of the cards that are coming out. It could be that you're with sort of a group of others who also have sort of like mystical abilities, or whatever, however you want to phrase that. It doesn't have to be so woo-woo, but it could just be like whatever your gifts are, right? Like just using those gifts to plan ahead, or to create new plans, or some sort of new inspiration. And I feel like there's something very significant here about the life, because you have here the life map. This is the Wheel of Fortune. And this card talks about like a web of your karmic debts. And because of all the energy that's coming through here for you at the top, where it's like you have all of this love and attraction and generosity, it's like this is what's in your karmic web, where it's like you've been putting out so much love, so much generosity, so much kindness, so much happiness and joy, and so that is going to be reflected back to you. I feel like though there is kind of like this situation where there was something around here with the 5 of pentacles, 10 of wands, where it like that energy was not being seen or reflected back to you because of this. So it's kind of like you're being protected while that energy is being dealt with. And then you have here the 6 of trees, which is the card that comes after the 5 of trees, right? So it's like moving into a place of more harmony and peace. It's like there's a boundary between you and whatever this like toxic energy is. The 6 of trees does talk to me about like harmony and boundaries, like harmony that is achieved perhaps through boundaries, or like moving past or moving on from some sort of like toxic or difficult or lack energy or lack environment, because you stood your ground, because you put all of this like beautiful energy into your karmic debts, right? It's like you put all of this energy out and it's going to be returned to you. Okay, group 3. I'm gonna end it there. Sorry for the weird focusing on this video. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. If you're interested in a personal reading, you can find the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great night. Bye.